We find ourselves in the midst of some uncertain economic times. You guys feel it. We all know it. We see what's happening around us. And it's in times of chaos and times of change when we tend to hunker down, maintain status quo, don't cause any waves, just do what you got to do to get through it. Well, this morning, we're going to turn that thinking on its head. We're not hunkering down. Instead, we're going to talk about how to turn chaos into opportunity. Now, look, this is one of the most valuable lessons I have learned in my 25-year career in business and politics. And I shared it actually maybe last week, a couple of weeks ago, in my Pull Up Your Chair coaching program. And yes, okay, it blew their minds because this is so antithetical to the way we think. You may have the same reaction this morning, but look, I can't give you the secret sauce that I give them. But what I can do is introduce this concept to you to get you thinking about how you're reacting in these uncertain times that are before us. And yes, if you've been joining me for all these countdown videos, and you know we're counting down the top 50 career tips to help you succeed in any role. And today is number 42. How to turn chaos into opportunity. And as we talk about chaos, think about it. Chaos is often born out of change. Chaos Chaos is all around us. It may be personal, it may be professional. Think about what's going on in your workplace right now. How are you reacting? How is your company reacting to these uncertain times? That that chaos and that change around you is the opportunity that we're going to talk about how you can look for this morning, because there are four simple words, and that's it. Just four words that I want you to focus on to turn chaos into opportunity. Just four. You ready? Hope you guys have a pen and a pencil. Write these down because you're going to want to remember these. And again, this blew some people's minds when I introduced this concept in my program. So it may do the same for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it now as we walk through this morning. Hey, listen, if you want to talk more about how this applies to your particular situation, you see that link down there? Got my half my screen off. It's connect.cicely.me. Can you guys see that link? Look, grab 10-15 minutes on my calendar. Let's talk through this. And I'm actually going to give you some actual client examples this morning, people who are following this advice. So stay with me because you're going to want to hear these examples because they may actually help you as well. But again, listen, I'm happy to grab 10 or 15 minutes I'm happy for you to grab time on my calendar. Use that link. This is probably the better hand to use. Use that link, connect.cicely.me. Let's talk through it and how it applies to you. Okay, I bought you some time. Bought you 5 or 10 seconds. Hopefully you have your pencil and paper. Let's jump in. The four words that I'm talking about is challenge, status quo thinking. If you think about it, the status quo, the root of chaos is the status quo. So you want to challenge the root of the chaos, not the fruit of it. The fruit of it is all the activity and all the changes happening around you. The root of the chaos is status quo thinking. Look at what's going on right now at the Fed. Look at what's happening around us. Perfect example. The Federal Reserve has always had these tools they've used, and they've used the same tools. Well, guess what? They didn't take into account all the money that was flooding into the system from the COVID dollars that were given out. So now the root of the cause for the Fed is status quo thinking has gotten us into this mess. I would beg to say the same thing is happening in your company. If you're busy reacting right now, if there are layoffs happening, if there are things going on around you and you're watching the chaos, the root of the chaos is status quo thinking. You have to challenge that status quo thinking both within yourself but also what you see around you at work. And the way you challenge it within yourself, and I get it, I'm going to give you an example here in just a moment, so stay with me, but the way you challenge status quo thinking of yourself, you just got to muster that moment of courage to raise your hand and say, "Have we thought about," and I'm going to give you an example, but you fill in the blank. So the challenging the status quo thinking of yourself is don't hunker down right now. Look for opportunities that you can take advantage of because they're all around you. people are leaving your workplace. Does that create an opportunity for you to move up into a new role? People around you are looking to maintain calm and quiet. How do you become the disruptor that takes advantage of the change around you? And the status quo thinking in your company is what you're going to challenge as well. Challenge the fact that you're doing what you've always done and expecting a different result. That is the challenging the status quo that we're talking about. And here's the example I'm going to give. I have a client who we've been working together for a few months. That person came into a company that was absolutely in the midst of chaos even before the economic times started. They kind of couldn't get out of their own way. They were having a tough time with their stores. They're having a tough time with some of their franchisees. And so she was brought in to a role to kind of, start new strategy, start fresh. Well, but in the midst of all this chaos, everybody was just doing what they've always done. So she came to me and she said, I feel like I should follow your advice. And now is the time for me to raise my hand and say, why are we doing what we've always done? Have we thought about a new strategy, a new course of action? And she and I talked through it. We talked through some new initiatives that she could offer. We talked about how she can challenge status quo thinking while being respectful of the company in the process, but raising her hand and saying, I have a new idea that I think is going to chart a new course for us. And so we talked through it in a couple of phone calls. She went to the CEO and she made her case. She found her moment when she said they're looking for a new marketing initiative that they want to launch that they believe is going to increase sales and increase customer counts coming into the stores. Cicely, she said, this is my moment. This is my moment to go in and say, I have a new idea. What you're doing is not working, and here's how I think we can turn it around. And she did it. She walked into the CEO's office, told him what she'd observed in her first 90 days on the job. She offered her new idea and her new initiative. Company, the CEO thought it was brilliant. They've now implemented her idea as a company wide initiative, and she has now made her own way to creating a position for herself in the company because she dared to raise her hand and challenge status quo thinking. She has now created opportunities for herself where they love her and they love that she brought a different perspective to the table that no one was willing to offer because everybody was so busy hunkered down just hoping the storm would pass. But she raised her hand and said, hang on a second. Here's what I've observed. Here's where I think we're going wrong. Here's what I think we can do different. That is the ultimate example of challenging status quo thinking. And she did a fantastic job of it. And now, to be honest with you, the world's kind of her oyster at her company. They look to her for new ideas. They want her at the table in leadership meetings. They want her ideas. That, my friends, is how you challenge status quo thinking. That is how you look around right now at the chaos and change around you and say, hang on a second. Have we thought about what if we tried? Clearly, what we've done is not working. I have a different idea. You decide the manifestation of that sentence. You decide how you want to say it. And again, jump on my calendar, connect.cicely.me. I'll give you some language cues to talk through it if you give me your specific example. But what I'm asking you this morning is to have the courage to challenge status quo thinking. I've done it in my career. It gave me phenomenal results when I was newly in my role at the representing the restaurant industry, and now as I teach this to other people, the results are phenomenal. And she's just enjoying all the glory, all the praise, all the accolades that she can get from her CEO and her company for bringing a new idea forward. So I challenge you this morning to challenge yourself. Challenge the status quo thinking. Again, you're challenging the root of the problem, which is the status quo thinking, not the fruit. The fruit is all the failed activities that are happening around you. When you challenge status quo thinking, you open up opportunities for yourself and you create your own destiny. Trust me on that. If you're with me this morning and you know that we're on career tip number 42, then I hope you're enjoying this countdown. Check out the last video here. Check out the entire playlist here. And then, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm going to bring more valuable content to you as we do this countdown. And I can see we have a bunch of folks with us this morning. I'm trying something new. If you're here with me this morning, I've got all the comments on screen so that you guys can see them. I am going to scroll through and see, can you guys see everybody's comments? We're trying something new this morning, so hit me in the chat if you can see. Oh, I think I cut some people off. Let me just move it over so we can see your faces here a little bit. Hey, listen, I'm challenging my own status quo thinking this morning and trying something new. I like to try new things. There we go. I like to try new things. This is me. All right, I can see all the comments on the screen, so let's see how this is going to happen. All right, let's start here. Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for joining. And Randy says, and let me just, you know what? Let me just make sure you guys can see the comment here. All right, let me just bring it up anyways, make sure you guys can see it. Wow, in this world of chaos, what a great concept to turn into opportunity. Randy, spot on. Eileen says this is a new world normal. That's a great way to put it. You need to embrace it and move forward. Eileen, I'm going to comment and say, for folks who embrace change, I'm coaching another client right now. She wants to switch jobs. She sees this as her moment to leave her current role, go into a new role. And she just kind of wants to talk through the courage of it. You know, how did she kind of make that leap? It's not about her resume or interview. She's fine. It's about helping her understand how to take advantage of the opportunity in the moment that is ahead of her. So I could not agree more. Chris says every time there's a crisis, some entrepreneurs see an opportunity to take advantage of the situation, being more eager than ever. So Chris, I'm glad you hit the entrepreneurial side because I do have a couple entrepreneurs here in my program. Even one gentleman who sought me out last week and said, help me get out of my own way. I feel like now's the time for me to grow my business, but I don't know that I have the right mindset and tools and processes to do so. So, Chris, I'm glad you brought up the entrepreneurial side. Look, I started my business out of chaos and crisis. You guys have heard me say getting fired was the best thing that happened to me because it led me to starting my own firm and now this coaching opportunity, and being able to work with you all is one of the absolute privileges of my life. So I agree with Chris. My entrepreneurial journey was born out of crisis and change, and it has been the absolute best thing that has happened to me. Melissa, good morning. I hope you're feeling better this morning. This is an exciting topic. There's certainly plenty of chaos. 100%. And I'm hoping folks really listen to this message this morning. You read these comments that are on the screen. There are always opportunities in any situation. Randy agrees with Chris. Sometimes changing the status quo equals going out on your own and capture that opportunity. Randy, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I know I've done. Probably so many of you have done as well. Look, I gave you a client example of someone who was in a company and took advantage of the opportunity in the company. Some of you are going to decide your current role is not the opportunity for you. It's what Randy and Chris are talking about. It's what Melissa and others are talking about. Some of you are going to decide the opportunity for you is to start your own entrepreneurial journey, to start your own company. Now, look, I love it when you reach out to me because you want to start your own company. I, this guy right here, this guy right here is the person you reach out to. And I love entrepreneurs when you reach out to me. Some of you are in my program. If I can help you, this guy right here, Chris Prouty, is the one I'm sending you to, because Chris has helped me grow my business when I started it. And so if you're on your entrepreneurial journey, reach out to Chris or reach out to me and I will connect you to Chris. He and I talk all the time, almost daily. And one of us will be able to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. So reach out to us and, let's make sure that we're getting you the help you need. Chris says, what an inspiring account of yours and her impact. Chris, you know my thinking about impact. You know, I always say influence is temporary, impact is lasting. And yes, we can see it. Thanks, Eileen. Thanks for that comment. Awesome. Glad you guys can see the comments here. I'm always changing something, and sometimes most people avoid trying to see my face. Chris is bringing a moment of levity to us this morning. Yeah, this is the guy right here. He says, "Holy wow, thanks." Chris is listen, all of us are on this journey together, guys. We're all trying to find opportunity. We're all and you can see the comments this morning. I mean, it's Melissa, Chris, Judy, Eileen. Let me bring Judy's comment up here. Looking at new options and being a disruptor and status quo thinking. Brilliant. It's all about disruption, Judy. I'm with you. Randy, I mean, everybody, Eileen, who's here this morning, we all have our different journeys and we all have found opportunity in chaos and change. I know some of these folks, some of them I know their stories. I know that this topic is resonating with them as it is with you. I know it's resonating with you because I hear it from you all the time. When you send me messages on LinkedIn, when you reach out on social, some of you reach out to me on my website and you're telling me your stories, and my role is to help you figure out where that opportunity exists for you. And I'm so grateful for the conversation this morning from everyone who's joining me. There's a world of opportunity waiting for you. You've heard these folks say it this morning in the chat. I know there's so many of you who watch these videos and you don't comment. But I know you're thinking this morning, what opportunity is there for me that I'm not seeing? Have I challenged the status quo to find the opportunity that exists? Now I say opportunity, let's make it plural, opportunities that exist. Because as you can see with my client, man, she is just, like I said, the world's her oyster. She is favorite in the company. Everybody loves her because she dared to find this, to challenge the status quo and find that opportunity. And now she can basically move up and go where she wants if she chooses to stay there. That is how impactful challenging the status quo was for her. My example, very similar to hers when I challenged the status quo and the results were phenomenal. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Reach out to me. Connect.cicely.me. Look, let's just have a 10-15 minute conversation. If you have opportunity and you're not taking advantage of it, you have that's on you because it's there. You may not see it, and that's where I come in, is to help you flesh out what the opportunity looks like. But I guarantee you right now in these moments of chaos and change and uncertainty, if you're willing to raise your hand, if you're willing to raise your hand, you can create your own path and chart your own course. And just like my client, the world will be your oyster as well.